Okay, a little bit of context. I want to take you back to 2007 and looking at the mobile phone industry. You've got a stable oligopoly. Samsung, LG, Nokia looked completely stable and established. Interlocking intellectual property relationships made it a stable, growing, and profitable business. Roll the clock forward 3 years, and it's transformed out of all recognition, dominated by Apple and Google in terms of market share, and completely dominated by Apple in terms of profits. What happened? Software happened. And that kind of disruption is something that we wanted to look at in this paper to see whether it might happen again, and if so, what analytical framework you might need in order to be able to determine where and when it is going to happen. So the purpose of the paper is to look at the next generation of what we believe poses this kind of strategic risk, which is digital service providers. In the West, that means Apple and Google, an established duopoly that have competing ecosystems that span communication, media, search, all of these different areas, and all integrated across different device classes, integrated via network communication services. Those are one side. Consider then the relationship between those digital services platforms and OEMs, traditional physical OEMs. So we have auto manufacturers, white goods manufacturers, home environmental control manufacturers. The OEM decision is, do I partner? And if so, how do I partner? And what are the benefits and what are the risks? The benefits of partnering are pretty clear. You have exceptional marketing and support reach. You can transform customer access. So, for example, we could look at Airbnb, where customer access enabled the entire business. You can deliver new product capabilities, remote household control, better maintenance, better support. And importantly, you can add sensors, collect user data, the whole thing, the partnership between the OEM and the digital services provider leads to better products and a better user experience. But what are the risks of partnering? And here it gets interesting. The partnership can power innovation, and that creates risks for incumbents. And one of the areas which we might look at that is happening today is what's happening in the auto industry, where you have something like Apple CarPlay or Google Car. Apple CarPlay started as a simple auxiliary screen that enabled the user to access his or her messaging, media, navigation, those things. That was the beginning. Now we're looking at Apple CarPlay expanding into a complete integrated system that essentially abstracts away all of the car's internal brand identity, surfaces controls and instrumentation through the CarPlay environment, with an enormous impact on the OEM's brand. If you're General Motors, you're right to be concerned about that. And that is undoubtedly behind their decision to abandon support for CarPlay in their electric vehicles. The sense is that these kind of products, allowing these digital services platforms in this way, lets a Trojan horse within the walls of the city. So that's the context. We wanted to look at mechanisms to be able to establish the benefits and the framework, the benefits and the risks of partnering with an OEM. And In order to do so, we look at the dimensions over which to analyze the shape of the relationship between the two parties, between the OEM and the digital services provider, the DSP. Does the DSP simply act as a matchmaker, essentially reducing friction between the supplier and the customer? Or does the partnership allow new product capabilities that strengthen the product design and product capabilities, improve the user experience, and thereby make the product even better and stronger? Or finally, at the other extreme, does the partnership pose the risk of being able to abstract away the entire brand identity of the physical goods provider, essentially just making them a cog in the DSP's ecosystem machine? The summary then is we've put together a framework that essentially starts from the premise that Mark Twain set out, that history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. What happened in the mid-2000s, we believe, is going to happen again in the mid-2020s with digital service providers. And it's the most fundamental and critical strategic decision that is facing physical goods OEMs today. We hope that the framework we put together for analyzing the risks and the benefits is useful in that decision. It's important to get it right. Thank you.